Hello and welcome to the Global Borrowers and Bond Investors Forum preview video. I'm David Lamb, Euromoney Conference's Head of Digital, and I'm delighted to be joined by our new Editorial Director, Charlie Corbett. Charlie, thank you for joining me.
Pleasure.
For those who don't already know, Euromoney Conference's flagship event takes place in central London on the 20th and 21st of June. The Global Borrowers and Bond Investors Forum attracts bond issuers, bond investors and bond intermediaries from all around the world, with companies measured in assets of exceeding 10 trillion. Charlie, can you give us a taster of what to expect at the event?
Thanks, David. Well, it's become a cliche to tell people that now has never been a more important time for financial markets to gather and take stock. But I think the last 12 months, events over the last 12 months defy cliche. Since the last Global Borrowers and Bond Investors event, we've got Donald Trump in the White House, we've got Britain negotiating its way out of Europe, and we've got an experienced 30-something Emmanuel Macron with no political experience or affiliations in the Élysée Palace in France. And actually, if you're to believe some of the recent polls, then the UK could be heading for a hung parliament by the time the conference opens. So financial markets, this is not a cliche to say, are having to learn to live with uncertainty. And with that in mind, this year's event is going to look to explore the impact of these events on financial markets, on global capital markets, and how bond issuers and investors can adapt amid such capricious political and economic backdrop. To help us do this, we're going to have keynote talks from Kenneth Volpert, who's Head of Investments for Europe and Global Head of Fixed Income Indexing at Vanguard, from Alan Higgins, who's the Chief Investment Officer at Coutts in the UK. Julian Thames is Managing Director and Head of Strategy, Implementation and Investment Management at Zurich Insurance. He's going to be giving a keynote talk too. I should also point out at this stage that we've got Serrano Fines, what the Guinness Book of Record have labelled the greatest living explorer, opening the conference this year. It is amazing he's still living, given the adventures he'd had in his life. I mean, he deals with a very different kind of risk and return in the job that he does. But let's see what we can learn and apply to financial markets from his different adventures.
And throughout the event, what other formats and topics are going to be covered?
Well, we've got our acclaimed panels on sovereign borrowing will be returning, and this year we'll have two panel discussions, and they're going to include decision makers from the finance ministries of Italy, Portugal, Spain, Ireland, the UK, Sweden and Canada. I hope I haven't missed anyone out. And in fact, we have now 7 of the top 10 biggest European sovereign issuers registered to attend this year. But outside the sovereign issuers, we've got workshops, roundtables, we've got panel discussions, all on topics that are including rethinking bank financing in the light of new regulations and flat yield curves, bank credit and whether there's a looming crisis. We're going to have a panel on that. Corporate issues are going to be there. Corporate issuers are going to be there. They're going to be talking about funding strategy and challenges in this environment. Outside of that, we've got speakers giving their insight on inflation linkers, euro fixed income, capital ratios, new regulation, fintech, ESG markets, another very important growing market, and of course emerging markets, ever-changing emerging markets strategy. Hopefully something for everybody in the bond markets.
For our returning delegates, what's new this year?
So we've got a new conference app. People are going to be able to use this app to send delegates messages. Well, they can send messages to one another. Hopefully they'll also be able to ask questions in advance of panels, so they don't have to wait till the end and they know that the moderator is going to answer their question at some stage. We're also going to have live polling during events, which again will bring them to life a bit more, and hopefully we'll get a lot of good interesting data out of that, see if our speakers can change people's opinions. So that's part of a more interactive experience, I think they call it. But we've also got a keynote themed investor interview session on the sterling bond market and socially responsible investing, another huge area of importance now in the bond markets. And last but not least, an entirely new format which we call target tables. Now these target tables are more intimate round table discussions over a number of different topics. So this year we've got supranationals, sovereigns and agencies chairing these tables, where there will be discussions on strategies and challenges in different currency investing. So each table will be a different currency. So lots to chew on there, and hopefully, as I say, something for everybody at this year's forum.
We would hate for anyone to miss out, so you can use the link below to see the agenda and apply now. Charlie, thank you for joining me.
Pleasure.
And thank you for watching.